What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Call of Duty Black Ops 3 on BlackTideTV as we enter into the final stretch on the road to the Call of Duty World War II private beta. That starts this Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm hoping to begin my live stream that night around 1:30 p.m. shortly after Sledgehammer Games works out all of the kinks, and I'll be streaming long into the night on Friday night using Saturday and Sunday to capture gameplay clips, and then another possible stream on the Monday with more content coming throughout the week and then up into the open beta. But in the spirit of Call of Duty World War II's beta beginning very soon, I thought that it was high time that we finally get through my supply drop wish list for Call of Duty 2017. And I've made this title distinction for a very specific reason. This is not particularly my list for supply drops in Call of Duty World War II, as there's already been announcements about those supply drops, what they'll contain. There are weapon variants in there, and there's going to be social supply drops where your friends can watch you open supply drops and they get rewarded for that. And there's a big social score when it comes to the headquarters section of Call of Duty World War II. And none of that factors into my list. I'd never even put the thought into social supply drops in my life. It seems like the craziest thing to me. But instead, I have been working on this list ever since Infinite Warfare came out, and some very clear issues were happening with Infinite Warfare and even Modern Warfare Remastered supply drop system. In my personal opinion, I think Modern Warfare Remastered has the most refined supply drop system in the Call of Duty franchise, but it still has issues. And so I started putting together all of my favorite elements from all of the different Call of Duty games that included a supply drop system, and even some of the Call of Duty games before the existence of the supply drop system where certain elements could play into the supply drop system very well. And now I'd love to hear from you guys as I go through my list in the comment section down below, but please be constructive. We are all in agreement. Supply drops suck, but they're here to stay. They have made such a lasting impression in the Call of Duty franchise. They are never going away. And you better just bite the bullet and give the developer some constructive criticism. Tell them what we want from supply drops, because they're not going to straight up take them out of the game at this point. So we got to tell them specifically how to make their supply drop system, and perhaps they'll listen, perhaps they'll revolutionize, and we can have the system that we've always wanted. So please leave your ideas in the comment section down below. But without further ado, let's get started. These are in no particular order. I've just gone through as ideas have popped into my head. I have based them off of particular Call of Duty games, and there are a few topics of discussion in here which I've broken down in other videos. I believe I called them the ideal supply drop videos. I will link those in the description down below if you haven't heard of these specific things when I mention them. The very first thing that I put down was from Modern Warfare Remastered. I would love to see the return of every single item in the game being available for purchase with parts or with whatever currency you were using at the time. So being able to buy everything in the game regardless of a supply drop system or not. We should be able to spend our points on supply drops and also spend our points on the individual things. If we'd rather save up for the individual things, make them a little bit more expensive, and then we can purchase those things directly without having to go through the supply drop system to find them. Next up is also from Modern Warfare Remastered. I'd love to see the return of holiday and seasonal events. So like a Christmas themed event, a summer themed event, St. Patrick's Day, and all like the different holidays and stuff. I think that's a really cool idea. However, I have one caveat to this, and that is the items that are available in that event, those limited time items, should always be available through the purchase of parts. So even though St. Patrick's Day is over, you can't get the St. Patrick's Day items from supply drops anymore, but if you use your parts and you go through the in-game store and you individually purchase things, you should be able to still unlock them. Maybe they don't appear in supply drops, that's fine, but as long as you can always permanently unlock those things with your parts by individual purchase, that would be the best. And now on to some Infinite Warfare things, because Infinite Warfare did a lot of great things with the supply drop system. The first being how Infinite Warfare is doing DLC weapons. If you're going to give away DLC weapons, you have to give them to everybody to make the gameplay fair. You can't go changing the meta and only allow people, like if you're lucky enough, you get the new weapons, and then the new weapons are always overpowered. Like, come on, look at Black Ops 3, look at Modern Warfare Remastered, even look at Infinite Warfare. All of the weapons that they've added are the best weapons in the game. The meta has completely changed in all of these games. The regular in-game weapons aren't even worth using anymore. And so if you're going to give out weapons in general in these games as an afterthought to the original weapons lineup, They have to be free, or you have to unlock them through challenges. I like Infinite Warfare's idea. Season Pass holders get them for free. If you don't have a Season Pass, you do a couple challenges, and you unlock them totally free as well. The other thing that Infinite Warfare did really well was a daily sign-in bonus. Modern Warfare Remastered doesn't have this for some reason, where you sign in every single day and you get a free item. You get keys, you get COD points, or you get salvage or whatever. You get free crates to open. Maybe you can go a little step further, and the more days you sign in a row, the more items that you are given. Like if you sign in 1 day in a row, you get like 10 keys, whereas if you sign in 5 days in a row, you get 50 keys, or it keeps building up for the entire week, and then at the end of the week it resets, and then you have to start signing in again. And I also like the idea that Season Pass holders, because they put that extra money down, get an additional bonus. If you didn't know, in Infinite Warfare, Season Pass holders actually get 2 daily sign-in bonuses. I think that should remain, as Season Pass holders are becoming a rare commodity. There aren't as many people buying the Season Pass anymore. Infinite Warfare, again, with their bribes and deals. I love the idea of the bribes and the deals and the quartermaster, like, oh, well, you could buy regular supply drops, or you can buy this specific hack, and it will give you one random legendary gesture. And that costs you this many keys, or this many salvage, or this many COD points. I love that idea of maybe you can get something better if you're buying a certain specific deal. I love the idea of the triple play. Just make sure that these are available for purchase with in-game currency and not just COD points. The only thing that Black Ops 3 did right with their supply drop system, because Black Ops 3, if you haven't noticed, is the absolute worst supply drop system in any Call of Duty game, and that's why I'm featuring it today, because it needs the most work. But the only thing that Black Ops 3 did really, really well with their supply drop system is the daily and weekly challenges for currencies and other rewards. I'm saying other rewards because I'd like to see an improvement on this as well, but it was done pretty well in Black Ops 3, where every day you have a new challenge, and if you complete that challenge, you get keys, or you get crypto keys, or whatever it is in Black Ops 3. And there's also a weekly challenge. See, Infinite Warfare has weekly challenges, but they're just not that great. And so I'd love to see serious daily and weekly challenges with like an extra added challenge, which you can use to unlock even more crypto keys. Like the challenges in Black Ops 3, the daily challenge might be get 10 headshots. Say you get 20 headshots and maybe you double your reward, something like that, where we have a little bit more to the daily and weekly contracts, but I'd love to see the return of the daily and weekly contracts nonetheless. From Advanced Warfare, the only item coming from Advanced Warfare is the Armory. If you have items that you don't necessarily want, you should be able to trade those in, get more credits for them, get XP for them, get whatever you're going to get for them. But the Armory should be a thing. You should be able to go through, tab through, find what your weapons are, find all of the items that you've been able to purchase so far, all the items that you found in supply drops, and you should be able to get rid of those or trade those with your friends. Which actually brings me to my next point, which is the Quartermaster Market. And this is one of those videos that I actually mentioned that's in the description down below. The Quartermaster Market is a plan of my own, something that's never been seen in a Call of Duty game before, and that is something where you can actually trade items with your friends. You can say, hey, I want that weapon, and he'll say, hey, I want that camouflage, and you can set up a trade. I think this would bring a lot more value to the weapons and the items in game, and it would give the game a lot more longevity, as you can always trade with your friends, sell things on the open market, maybe even put things up for auction, and you can try to get your hands on some other brand new items, and that way you don't have to completely rely on your ability to find items in the supply drop system, or your ability to play the game long enough to be able to purchase those items individually. So the Quartermaster Market is a prime example of where this Armory could actually come in handy. Next up, a game that didn't have a supply drop system but still had a very good plan for COD points, and that is Black Ops 1. If you didn't know, in Black Ops 1, COD points were a completely different thing. COD points were what you used to buy basically everything in the game. You could buy camouflages, you could buy new weapons, you could buy perks, all of your creative class items you had to buy with COD points. But the COD points were specifically in-game currency. You unlock COD points by finishing matches. They just gave you free COD points. You could also complete contracts. There were daily and weekly contracts, which if you completed the contracts, you could get COD points. You could wager your COD points in a game. You could play wager matches, and if you won that game, you might get back 5 times the amount of COD points that you wagered. I would love to see this whole COD point system returning for a supply drop system where COD points are the single universal currency, which is coming up next, but a COD point system where every time you complete a match, you get CoD points. Whenever you go to play a match, you can wager on that match, or maybe have a wager match system where you can get double or triple or 5 times the CoD points if you come in a certain position in that match. Another great way would be challenge completion and leveling rewards, which I just briefly mentioned. But every time you finish a challenge, there's really no reward for that anymore. Yes, you get XP, yes, you might get a calling card, but in the grand scheme of things, the only thing that people care about in Call of Duty anymore is CoD points, keys, supply drops. So when you finish challenges, maybe you're rewarded for that, and they give you a certain amount of CoD points, a certain amount of currency for completing that challenge. And every time you level up, maybe you prestige, you get a bonus, like a signing bonus. Like, you complete this level of your training, you hit level 55. Here's some more CoD points for you to spend. They should just be pouring CoD points at us, making us inspired, giving us a reason to really enjoy the supply drop system, rather than being so skimpy with their currency for earning it in game and preferring you to buy CoD points. They should be giving you a reason to like the supply drop system by just giving you all these ways to get your CoD points, to get your currency. A lot of my theory revolves around universal currency, and that is the idea that all of your currency should be the same. I've made a full video talking about this. It's linked in the description down below. But keys, depot credits, parts, salvage, CoD points, it should all be the same. When you go to buy a supply drop, you should be using the same currency, which I'm going to call CoD points, overall. Like, when you spend your CoD points, you should be able to save up a ton of your CoD points to buy individual items, or you can spend 30 CoD points on a rare supply drop to open it. CoD points should also be the thing that you go ahead and use your real life money to purchase. It should all be one currency, not buying CoD points to spend on crates where you get keys and reward, which you spend on more crates, which you get salvage and parts and reward, which you can spend on individual. Like, see how confusing that is? We shouldn't have all of these different currency systems. A single universal currency is the way that has to be. And as an extension of that, transferable currency would be best, where it's one single currency across all of the Call of Duty games, at least from this point forward. So CoD points are the only currency. They take over keys, salvage, depot credits, crypto keys. They take over CoD points, and those are transferable between games. So you can use your CoD points in Black Ops 3. The exact same CoD points have the exact same value in Infinite Warfare, and so on and so forth. But that is my massive list of supply drop system items that I'd love to see in the Call of Duty franchise. Got a little hectic there towards the end with all the universal currency and talking about wager matches and being able to unlock your currency, but I really think that you should be able to get your currency by playing the game and earning them and actually doing something to be rewarded with the items in the game, to be rewarded with supply drops. We should feel good about this system. We should feel good about doing supply drop openings and getting the things that we want. That being said, the weapons and other things like that should be given to us for free, but as I've said throughout this entire video, the supply drop system needs work. A lot of their different Call of Duty games, a lot of the different supply drop systems in each of their games did certain things right. All we have to do is take the best parts of those games, bring them all together, and we might have a perfect supply drop system. Now, I highly doubt that a lot of these items are going to make it into World War II. As I did say that there are new social supply drops, and there's a social score, and there's a whole bunch of crazy things that I didn't even mention in my list. So I'm definitely excited to see if these supply drop items are going to make their way into the World War II beta. If they do, I'll make a video on it for sure. And if they don't, well, we're going to have to wait for the full launch of World War II to see how the supply drop system fared out in the next installment in the Call of Duty franchise. But let me know your ideas for the supply drop system wish list. Like, what's your supply drop system wish list? What do you want to see in supply drops? What do you want to see from supply drops? How do you want to earn your CoD points, etc., etc.? Let me know that in the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more daily gaming goodness. More Call of Duty Black Ops 3 coming up tomorrow. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at BlackTideTV. There's a link in the description. There's also a link in the description to those other couple videos that I've kept mentioning. And my Patreon. For at least $1 each month, you can be featured in the description credits of every single video and have my eternal gratitude. But I've talked for way too long today, and so that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you all on the next video.